From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a huge night as the Federal Reserve Chair, Jay Powell, testified just minutes ago in a big conference and explained that price stability for the U.S. economy is his number one priority, that it could result in unemployment for some people. Of the latest details tonight on why the dual mandate of the White House, the Federal Reserve, and your money may ultimately result in you needing more stimulus. That's why you can't wait to get stimulus. You need to get it tonight. And in this recording, we have $100,000 stimulus in every U.S. state for the American people, including you. Yes, a forced stimulus check of over $100,000 has landed in every U.S. state. Tonight, we're going to go over the breaking news of these checks and how you get them. They're big. They're nothing like you've seen before, and they're for you. They're coming up in tonight's recording. We're going to go over why it's important to get these checks in view of the comments from Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, minutes ago. He said that his focus on getting that inflation under control is very important, and he may not get it right. If he doesn't get it right, what's going to happen? Yes, that word, recession. But the downward spiral that's gone before that could even be worse. We'll have the latest details tonight on what Jay Powell said and why he's potentially sending you to unemployment. Because he says he wants to get price stability, number one, and then he understands price stability will slow the economy. He wants to slow the economy, and he understands that the economy slows down, then people can get laid off. Well, what does this mean for you? You need to get the money that's available today because that financial cliff is just around the corner. And how big a financial cliff it will be is huge. We're going to look at the analysis of what's happening tonight. It's a very fluid situation. It's breaking news. It was not even on afternoons, and it just came in minutes ago. Moreover, we're going to look tonight at whether the financial cliff at issue will manifest itself first in bad corporate earnings or first in bad labor numbers. And that's why tomorrow morning is going to be a big morning. That's when the new jobless claims are released by the Department of Labor, and we'll be looking at whether those numbers come in stronger than expected or weaker than expected. It's a big night with a lot of breaking news. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Become a member. Go right in this video. Stay with me. We're going to go over these incredible checks as Evenings LA gets underway. And good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful night. And if there ever was a night to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, it's tonight. Because the Federal Reserve just gave a big, clear warning minutes ago. It just came in. It was not even on the afternoon's broadcast. This is breaking news for June 29th, 2022. And you're hearing it for the first time on Evenings tonight. The comments from Jay Powell, I'll be going over in 1 second. But let me give you the narrative at issue and what's important for you to understand when you look at these comments. The comments from the head of the Federal Reserve, Jay Powell, is that his maximum focus, his number one focus, his only focus is price stability. Price stability means getting inflation under control. And when addressing the situation, he said it may cause other problems. He wants the economy to slow down. And if the economy is going to slow down, other things will pick up. And what are those other things? Yes, those other things that would pick up are unemployment. There's a big problem tonight, and we're going to go over the breaking news on this report that came in from overseas. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, who has a double mandate for you and your economy, is price stability. That means getting inflation under control, and maximum employment, mean most of people employed. But tomorrow morning, Mornings LA, live on air at 9 a.m. on this channel, we're going to look at that new labor number. How many people became unemployed last week? Whoa, more about that in a second. What did Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, say minutes ago at a central bank conference, the European Central Bank Forum, along with the global heads of central banks overseas? He says the risk of the multiplicity of the shocks you have to transition from a higher inflation regime to a lower are very apparent, but we will not allow to transition from a low inflation environment into a higher inflationary environment. There's a clock running right now where we have inflation running now more than a year too high. It would be bad risk management to just assume those long-term inflationary expectations, so we're not doing that. He's not allowing inflation to stay high. So what is he doing? He's raising interest rates. But is raising interest rates a risk for you, your family, your children, and your household? It is. We've known that for a very long time, but for the first time in a long time, Jay Powell really analyzes this financial cliff. He says we're strongly committed to using our tools to bring inflation back down, but the way we do it is slow down growth of the economy. Ideally, this is what he hopes, to keep it positive. There is a risk we would go too far. Certainly there is a risk. Our biggest risk would be the economy, but the biggest mistake would be to fail to restore price stability. Folks, this is not good. Let's go over what the magnitude of those comments are. He wants to make the most of getting you employed. He wants to make the most of you employed, but he also wants to secure price stability, reduce inflation. Well, he wants to slow the economy down. He admits he wants to slow the economy down by raising inflation. The only result of slowing down the economy is layoffs, is unemployment. So if you're watching this video tonight and the guy who's in charge of your monetary policy says, I'm slowing down the economy and you may get unemployed, so get ready for it. What does that mean? That means you get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, because I got it for you tonight. $100,000 in every U.S. state. How do you get it? Step one, watch this entire video. Stay to the very end. We got a lot of broadcast breaking news tonight for June 29th, 2022. It's all breaking tonight. Number two, you become a member. You go right in this video. You hit the join button, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and then you get the newsletter that all Americans are talking about. It features in there the forced stimulus checks now in every U.S. state. It features in there the latest details on what's going on with oil, international Brent crude, corn, wheat, gasoline, and also has the incredible new Wonder member benefits of the worksheets. More about those in a second. The situation tonight is very interesting. For the first time ever in looking at the situation, I now believe that there's two opportunities to manifest a financial cliff in this economy. Whether it shows up first in employment or second, it shows up in corporate earnings. Let's go over what we're talking about. Between now and September, there's a financial cliff. I believe the financial cliff hits about September. That financial cliff is when the economy is slowed dramatically because Jay Powell's raising those interest rates. That financial cliff was going to send people over the cliff who are not watching this videos, watching this channel, not members, not subscribers, because they're not prepared for it. How are they not prepared? Let's go over the financial cliff for them. If they're laid off, there is no unemployment stimulus like 2020. There is no PUA. There is no FPUC. There is no PEUC. There is no LWA. If they're a small business owner, there is no EIDL grant or EIDL loan. If they're a renter, there's no eviction moratorium. If they're a homeowner, there's no mortgage forbearance. If you have a gasoline bill, or a gas bill or a heating oil bill that's too high, they can turn off your utilities. There's no moratorium on that as well. Look bleak? It is bleak. And that's why you got to get these checks in every U.S. state. Now, let's turn the equation to these checks, and that's why this is great news. That is why you watch this channel. A forced stimulus check has been identified, lots of them, not one, but lots of them in every U.S. state. And I'm going to get you those checks later in this recording. Viewers have been getting these checks since day one when I first got them back in the month of March. Viewers are cleaning up over $100,000. Many viewers have gotten over $250,000. And these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are incredible. Let's go over those notions of those checks right now and what you need to know this evening. These forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are funded by the federal government. So if you don't like your state, you don't like your governor, you don't like your state legislator, don't worry. They're not sending you the money. It's the federal government's money. The federal government determines who gets the money. The federal government pays the money. The person who's mailing you the check may be the state, but it's not their money, and they have no say on whether you get money. So if you don't like your governor, because I see a lot of people in live chats don't like their governors, they're not part of the equation. They cannot hold up your money. Number two, this is federal money. This is not state money. People get confused because the money is mailed from the states. This is federal money. Only covered on this channel is federal money. This has nothing to do with your states. It's not coming from state funds. It's coming from the government. Number 3. The money is very important to get, and the eligibility is even more important to understand. Kat, a longtime viewer, says you do eligibility really well, LA. Let's go over the eligibility for you on these checks. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, go get them. If you have children, if you don't have children. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits or more, go get them. If you are in a red state or a blue state, if you have children, if you don't have children, go get them. Do not wait. Notice the expression, the verb tense in those last few sentences. I said, go get them. That is the important part of the equation. You need to get them. You need to get them because they, $100,000, do not land in your hand by direct deposit for doing nothing. The federal government is not sending $100,000 to every U.S. citizen. If it did, we would not be a democracy. We'd be a bankrupt dictatorship. Federal government is not sending $100,000 to every single person just because you have a beautiful hairstyle. Thank you so much. The federal government is not doing that. Federal government is giving money to people who go get it. And we're going to go over how you get it later in this recording. What's important to understand, this is 2022. This is June 2022. And what I need you to do tonight, and I'm going to do it more than I've ever done before, started this morning, is motivate you. I need to motivate you to pick up that pen, to pick up that finger, to pick up that phone, to pick up that cell phone or that computer and start going and getting money today. You need to get it today. You cannot wait another minute. You can't wait another day. You can't make excuses for yourself. You need to allocate your time to get this money right today because this is your money. This is your opportunity. Let's go over the money right now. It's over $100,000 on average in every U.S. state. Number 2, it's the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. Number 3, you generally qualify. And number 4, the money's been around since March of this year when I first identified for viewers when they asked me to find it. Viewers have gotten it. Have you gotten it? If you're new to the channel, welcome. You're watching LALATE, broadening its coverage with a brand new look coming in less than 90 days. And this is the channel that tells you where this economy is and where it's going and where the money is. The number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, heading to number 2. What you need to know is that this money is there, but it's not going to be there indefinitely. That there's a financial cliff coming in less than 90 days. We're almost heading to July, so it's almost 60 days. It's September in my projections. And lastly, that millions of Americans are going to be big financial problems when the weather gets cold, when they start to get unemployed, and they're going to be competing with you against the stimulus in the fall. No, they're not. You're going to get your money now before they start looking for it. Let's go over what you need to know about the financial cliff. This financial cliff is the reason to get the stimulus, which we're going to go over in detail. We're going to go over all these checks one at a time later in this recording. This financial cliff is part of a series of stages which I have identified in this economy that we're going through. And tonight, the latest details is that most economists agree upon stage 1, which we're in right now. I mean, how can you not agree upon the status quo? And they agree upon stage 3, but they're having a little problems figuring out what's happening with stage 2. This is breaking news tonight. Let's look at those stages. Currently, we're in a downward spiral of this economy as we slow down the economy. As Jay Powell said in those opening remarks, slow down the economy between now and September. What happens after that? What happens after that is that the economy is slowed down, and then it starts to change into a different economy. September to January will be a different economy. It will be a much slower economy. The growth won't be there. Let's go back to those comments from Jay Powell because he tells us exactly where he's bringing us to. He says he's bringing us to a slower economy with slower growth. He says, we strongly committed to using our tools to slow down growth, ideally keeping it positive. What he's trying to do is slow it down. Now, what does that also mean? He could potentially slow it down too abruptly. It's sort of like a railroad train that stops too quickly. And that is a potential financial cliff of September coming across the board. January thereafter is what most of economists and myself believe is a recession. I was the first American broadcaster to report that we're going to recession next year. I put it in January. Some analysts put it later in the year. The takeaway is we really don't care when the recession is for purposes of analysis because the recessionary risk of this economy is not in the market. So let's go back to that stage 2. You see the problem? There's the problem. Stage 2 is a big situation where there's a financial cliff. And what you need to do right tonight to prepare for that financial cliff is get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Get as much stimulus as you can. Number 2, raise your savings and remove any adjustable rate debt in the household, like car loans or credit card debt. Switch it to fixed. Because what's going to happen in these next 90 days, you're going to see a lot of changes that you're not going to be particularly happy about, and those changes will be abrupt, and they'll be very sudden. But let me tell you what you need to be prepared for, what's coming on the outside in. What's coming on the outside in is that Americans are not prepared for a financial cliff. In many cases, they don't even know it's happening or going to be happening, and they're not prepared. They think the good days of this economy are here from February. They're not here. Those days of February are long gone. The Federal Reserve is very clear. We're not keeping this the same economy. We're shrinking it. And when they shrinks it, they're going to be shocked by it. Where will the slowing of the growth of the economy, the financial cliff, first manifest itself in the landscape of the American economy? That's the major question tonight. There's 2 possibilities, either in labor numbers or corporate earnings. Which one will be first? My prediction tonight is it will be first seen in labor, unemployment. I believe we'll first see a shoot up of the unemployment numbers before we see bad corporate earnings. Ultimately, those are 2 ways to determine how quickly this economy is shrinking, and we could see one of them in less than 10 hours. Tomorrow morning, one of the most important numbers we can see on this channel for over a month is the new jobless claims. The new jobless claims released every Thursday morning are released by the Department of Labor. But tomorrow's morning's recording is even more important on Mornings LA Live on Air for June 30th, 2022. I need you to watch that video. Why? We need to see if these labor numbers are the same, worse, or getting better. Because if they're worse, we have a big problem coming much sooner. Remember, I told you the financial cliff is in September. This is just June. It's not supposed to be hitting in June, but if we see a big surge in those numbers, big problem. So let's go over the potentials of those numbers. The projection for me for the Department of Labor's numbers tomorrow are 230,000 new jobless claims. Have I been right? Well, 3 weeks ago, it came in at 200,000. Then I projected 230 the next week. It came in at 229. I got it right. The week after that, last week, I projected 230 again. Came in at 227. I got it right. So will it be about the same? We will see that tomorrow live on air as a family. If it comes in at 240, not good. If it comes in at, let's say, 210, 215, well, that's actually promising. It's also a little confusing because if he's shrinking the economy, why would there be less unemployment claims? Now, on the other side, will we see numbers coming from corporate America that show shrinkage of this economy closer to a financial cliff faster than the unemployment numbers manifest themselves? It's hard to say, but tonight we have some data, and we will look at that data starting right now and see if the data is more robust on bad corporate earnings or bad on unemployment numbers. Today, we had General Mills report adjusted quarterly earnings of $1.12 per share, 11 cents above estimate, so it was up about 2%. And McCormick and Schmidt, McCormick's reported a less than expected quarterly results. It was down 8%. Pinterest switched out CEOs and replaced in Bill Reddy, and that stock rose 3%. But here comes the bad numbers tonight. The bad numbers are Bed Bath & Beyond and Carnival. Let's do Bed Bath & Beyond. You know, the retailer where you go and you buy the bed, the bath, and beyond. Well, their earnings were beyond bad. Here we go. Their earnings were so bad that their stocks just continued to plummet. They were 10% in the pre-market trading in Bed Bath & Beyond, the stock, and by the middle of the day, it was down 20%. It was down so dramatically because the people are not buying the stores. No one is coming in, and they actually decided to replace the CEO. There you go. We have bad corporate earnings and we have unemployment situation because it's the CEO who's unemployed. They replace the CEO. Now, if they think that is bad enough, let's look over to Carnival. No, not Brazil. Carnival. The cruise industry. Cruise industry is in big trouble. Big trouble tonight as cruise line operators slid 8% in pre-market trading after Morgan Stanley cut the price target from $13 to $7 a stock. Now, tonight, let me make very clear to you. It's trading, I think, at about $8 today. There were some analysts that said in the bear situation, it could go to zero. Zero. Imagine Carnival Cruises stock going to zero. What's going on, folks? This is scary. It's 4th of July weekend. Aren't you on a beautiful cruise and, doing the lambada? Or the lasagna? I don't know which one it is. Rival cruise stocks also went down. Royal Caribbean, not so royal tonight, down 4%. Norwegian Cruises, not so Norwegian either, down 5%. They're not cruising to a good song. They are in big trouble. Why? They had to take on big debt to survive the pandemic. Now that debt is due. They can't pay for the debt. They're having problems paying for the debt. The people are not showing up, and the bookings are down. Now, if you're on Delta Airlines this weekend for 4th of July weekend, good. You're going to still watch me, I hope. But Delta announced that you could swap your flights with no change fee. They're worried about all these logistics. Bookings are generally down, they say, for the airlines. But you're going to see a lot of reports this weekend that people traveling. Not so much because the analysts are saying travel and leisure is in big trouble. So travel and leisure, big trouble. Retail and big trouble. Bed Bath & Beyond. Is this bad data from corporate numbers going to evidence we're closer to the financial cliff of September before the labor numbers do? I think the labor numbers are going to come in worse before. And I think we're going to see a lot more hiring freezes, a lot more layoffs, and we could approach stage 3, which is store closures. Tesla today, another 3-day weekend, announcing more layoffs. He just loves to lay people off over a holiday. How festive of him. He laid off 10% of his workforce, Elon Musk, before Memorial Day weekend. Today, he laid off 200 employees out of California and then closed an entire branch, the Silicon Valley, before the 3-day weekend. How nice of him. And Bob Chapek at Disney has gotten a extension on his job, but his board at Disney for 3 more years. So he's not worried about unemployment, at least for himself. Here's what you need to know. A financial cliff is very severe. A financial cliff is exactly what we think the word means. You're walking along, you're singing a song, you're Laverne and Shirley, and then, I'm not tripping. Oh, what? Yeah, it's like a... it's like a Chris Brown song. It's like the Chris Brown Doublemint song where you're sort of falling off the side of a hill, side of a skyscraper. You literally would fall off in a financial cliff. Why? Because you're not preparing for it. You don't know there's a cliff at the edge of the walkway. You do, other people don't. Let's go over the importance of getting these 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. First, it's important to get it now, because the economy is not at the financial cliff. So if you bulk up your savings with stimulus, you are preparing yourself and your family for the financial cliff. Number 2, you get it before other people see that there's problems in their pocketbooks and start asking for stimulus. You get it before everyone else starts showing up, as we call it, a stimulus stampede. And number 3, you get it before the cold winter months come in. As the heating oil bills will go through the roof, the gasoline bills will go through the roof. Anything that powers your home that are based upon those embargoed products from Eastern Europe, yes, you get that money now before the situation gets worse. Now, let's go over the wonders of this money. You qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, RB, VA, all of the above, go get it. You go get them. And how do you get them? You, step 1, stay the second half of this video. We're going to go over these big checks one at a time. Number 2, you go right in this video right now and subscribe to the biggest and fastest growing financial news channel there is on the platform. Number 3, you become a member. You go right in this video and hit that join button so you become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then you get the newsletter everyone's talking about. The newsletter that has the price of gasoline, wheat, corn, and the financial data of today's environment announced, updated daily. Then, of course, it has those stimulus checks in there, the links to go in, apply, and get this big money, upwards and over sometimes $100,000 a person. Then it has the wonderful new worksheets. The worksheets are a wonderful creation. The newsletter is the only creation in the financial space you find only on LALATE, and the worksheets are the only ones you'll find in the financial space as well. These worksheets, now less than 7 days old, also only for members, are an incredible way to keep track of your stimulus and to keep track of when you're getting it, how you're getting it, who you got from, and more. We'll be going over all those incredible worksheets later in this recording. It's divided into a series of subjects of worksheets, and the last subject matter is student loan debt forgiveness, 7th stimulus. The President of the United States is set to announce the final chapter in student loan debt forgiveness. What is it? Let's go over the details of it across the board. Based upon my reporting, I'm projecting the President of the United States to announce the following. I'm projecting the President of the United States to announce $10,000 of student loan debts to be forgiven for individuals who make $150,000 or less that respective year. This is federal student loan debts. And that announcement I expected to come before the August recess of Congress so that they can be present for the signing. It would come by executive order by the President of the United States. He does have the inherent authority. He does not need an act of Congress. The President already forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, worked in the nonprofit or public sector, or his debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. This is the final chapter of the student loan debt forgiveness story and coverage on this channel of 7th stimulus. Also heating up is 5th stimulus. The raising up of your benefits based upon COLA or another benchmark. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over the great news that your benefits are definitely going up. But could they be going up even more? We'll go over the analysis of that and what we learned today and what we're learning going forward. And then in the second half of this video, we'll be going also over the question mark of the analysis of stimulus. I have a newer perspective I'm going to deliver for you for the first time ever in the final minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. When you look at the gasoline tonight, where are we on gasoline? Gasoline is relatively flat today. It was down the last few days. Stock market flat as well. Dow Jones and Nasdaq were relatively unchanged today. Oil was at 113. Gas was at 4868. That is the U.S. domestic unleaded, according to AAA. But Brent crude unchanged, about 113. Here's what you need to know, is that gasoline is a relatively volatile market, and the stock analysis and also the Federal Reserve analysis is getting a little bit more dicey tonight. Here's what one analyst said earlier today. Wells Fargo senior equity analyst Christopher Harvey. We expect significant volatility this summer with face-ripping, short-covering rallies. Face-ripping? Zombie apocalypse is back. Followed by economically inspired market slumps. So he expected very volatile. While a much anticipated market washout could catalyze a more sustained, more higher, we think that the market will not sustain a rally until they believe the Fed will toggle more towards a 50 to 75 basis point or a more mundane 25 basis point increase. What is he talking about? This is Jay Powell. So we started with Jay Powell. We're going back to Jay Powell. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, will announce the FOMC July rate increase for interest in just a few days. My projections is 75 basis point. But it's not much of a stretch to say 75. He's not going to do half, and he's certainly not going to do 1 point. But here's what's at issue. Federal Reserve does not meet in August, so they don't have the benefit of an August raise. And by September, they will have data from August and September to look at. And if the consumer price index number is higher or the same, I project they're coming in at 1 basis point. A full 1.0 in September if that CPI does not come down. Why do we know that, and why do we have guidance about it tonight? We have a comments today from Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland President Loretta Mester, who said that she will advocate for 75 basis point this month, but she says, I haven't seen the type of numbers on the inflation side that I need to see in order to think that we can go back to 50 basis point increase. What is she talking about? She needs to see inflation has peaked, that it's not going higher, that it's the same or coming lower before she says, I'm done with the 75 basis point. I can pull back and do 50 basis point. Here's the problem. The question didn't ask her, what if the inflation numbers are not peaking and they're still going higher by the next time you do this after July? I don't think she's going to do 3 quarters. I think there's a very big possibility that one would be an issue. That's why Jay Powell says we are serious about this price stability, this inflation. And the takeaway is, if Jay Powell's serious about raising those interest rates, he's serious about slowing the economy. And if he's serious about slowing the economy and has to come in more aggressively, financial cliff will come faster. Financial cliff will come faster, and people who don't watch this channel may lose their jobs, look for unemployment stimulus, doesn't exist. PUA, FPUC, PEUC, all gone. Lose your business, EIDL grant, EIDL loan, gone. Lose your livelihood or your focus, potentially be evicted. There's no eviction moratorium. Potentially lose your home, no mortgage forbearance, potentially have utilities turned off. There's no assistance for that either. There's no moratorium on that either. That's why you have to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You have to get it because you cannot risk it. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over those incredible forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. In the next 90 days, price of goods are going to go higher, recessionary winds are going to pick up, and mortgage rates are going to continue to rise. In the next 90 days, inflationary concerns will cause confidence to dwindle, spending to go down, and income to go down. Do not expect gasoline to go lower, inflation to go lower, or fast action from anyone for other than what I have for you tonight. A big, bold, beautiful cluster of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Step 1, go right in this video now and become a member. Step 2, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. Step 3, stay to the second half of this video as we go over that newsletter delivered at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Become a member right now. If you're not getting the warning signal loud and clear tonight from Jay Powell, I don't know who else can give it to you. The leading guy for dealing with where this economy is in the administration is giving you a big warning signal. And with that warning signal, he's saying, I'm slowing down the economy and I got to slow it down. I'm raising those interest rates and I got to get price stability under control. And I will continue to hit it harder and harder until I get it done. If you're not getting that message, the message is very clear. You better be prepared for a financial cliff that's always possible by getting those forced stimulus checks now in every U.S. state. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over these checks one at a time. Go right in this video, become a member right now. Hit that join the button channel, and I'll see you back in 60 seconds as we go over all these incredible checks. We go over the worksheets for members, and then we go over the raise of your benefits coming from the Social Security actuary. Exciting news as Evening Daily continues tonight. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on a big, bold, beautiful evening for June 29, 2022. Hope you're having a beautiful night. Did you become a member during the commercial break? I hope you did. Go right in this video and join right now because we're going to go over those incredible checks detailed in the membership newsletter. You're going to get them and you deserve them and you better be prepared for that financial cliff. A forced stimulus check, lots of forced stimulus checks are in every U.S. state. We're going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. If you've been a long-time viewer of this channel, you understand that there's a lot of different ways to get stimulus. And there's a lot of different times that stimulus lands. Here's what's at issue. When the first stimulus package was passed, the CARES Act, it was a big deal. It was all over broadcast news, media, local news, your local newspaper. Everyone knew about the CARES Act. But did you know that there was a first and a half stimulus package? A 1.75. What about a 1.95? What about a 1 3/4? Yes, there were lots of stimulus packages between the first and the second. They didn't really have a press name. They didn't have a number. They couldn't figure out what you called to call them. They were not covered anywhere in the landscape of broadcast media. What were those checks? Those were the big checks. Those were the monster checks. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. These were monster checks between the first stimulus package and what was supposed to be the next monstrosity. In December 2020, we were hearing about the second stimulus package between Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. Never happened, but at the same time, we also saw a series of other stimulus packages go out, like the CR for stimulus. What was that numbering? We really didn't know that numbering. Finally, in spring of 2021, the third stimulus package did get passed. The American Rescue Plan under Joseph Biden. A monstrosity in broadcast media. Everyone heard about it. But did you hear that after the third stimulus package, there was a series of stimulus items thereafter? What do we call those? 3.5, 3.25, 3.75? Well, those are what are the wonderful forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Who knows what to call them? I call them forced stimulus because they're after the third, and you may call them 3.25 or 3.5. I call them fourth. They're monstrous, and they are great, but they're not as big as the first and third because there's a lot of other things usually in the first and third. So you're not seeing these in broadcast media. You're not seeing these in cable news. You're not seeing them in your local newspaper. And here is the difference. Big money. Big money. Over $100,000 on average per viewer. You've never seen a $100,000 stimulus check in your hand from a stimulus package as government? Well, tonight you're going to learn about it on this channel. It's a series of checks done by executive order by Joseph Biden and funneled through the states. The money is underwritten by the federal government, meaning they're the banker for the money. They provide the money, but ultimately the money sent out may be sent from your state. It's not their money. It's not the state's money. It's not their determination on how to spend it either. So you don't like your governor, you don't like your state legislator, don't worry about this money. A series of checks, which I've given letters to. We're going to go over how you can get these incredible checks starting right now. First, remember the eligibility. $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, SSI or SSDI, you go get them, and let's go to that very first check. The very first check is a beautiful $6,500 to $12,000 fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Yes, you heard me right. That was not a misstatement. $6,500 to $12,000 fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's called the Homeowners Grant Check. And Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. And how do you get this wonderful check? Step 1, you subscribe to this channel. Step 2, you go under the video where it says join the channel and you click the link and become a member of this channel. Join this channel, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calstino VIP. Then get the member newsletter delivered only to members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. You go right in the membership newsletter and you go down to Check A. Tells you a little bit more about Check A. You click the link. You go into the nationwide website, you choose your state, and then you choose the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check, and you go get it. Average routing times are about 1 week. Go get it. $6,500 to $12,000. Add on top of that an extra $80,000. That went fast. Now we're nearly at $90,000. That went real fast. This is Check B. $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's called the Homeowners Grant Check. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, go get them. This wonderful check, how do you get it? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, go into the membership newsletter. Monday through Friday, the membership newsletter, and go down to Check B where it tells you more about it and gives you the links to apply. You go right in there and apply, and you pounce. Average payout to the viewership of the channel, $66,000 to $80,000. Incredible, but you're not going to stop there yet. We're already, what are we at 90,000? Here we go. Whoop, we just passed over 100,000. Check C is a wonderful wad of money. Monthly money, on average, $2,000 over 12 months. Direct deposit, it's the residue of third stimulus, and it's called Check C. Check C is likely, in my predictions tonight, to be the most important check of fall of 2022 in the landscape of the American people. It's not just one check, but checks. Why? Rent. Millions of Americans are going to be facing eviction moratorium. Facing eviction, and there is no eviction moratorium. Landlords are going to be happy to evict you if you can't make rent because there is no eviction moratorium. That's why I got to go get Check C. It has money for rent. Banks are going to love to take your home if you cannot make the mortgage. They're going to love to foreclose on you. They want homes. They want to make money in the real estate market. there is no mortgage forbearance. That's why you have to go get Check C for mortgage assistance. If you get that heating oil or that gas bill to heat your home in the thick of winter and it's 400% higher and you cannot afford it, they're going to turn you off. They'll turn your service off. They can do this now in 2022. You can't afford that. You can't live through a cold winter night. That's why you got to get Check C. And this is what we've been doing for Check C for a very long time. This channel, LALATE, has gotten viewers over $50 million since it's launched in April 25th, 2022. These incredible sums of money have been gotten by viewers when they first were in pre-third stimulus mode. We got a little bit at the time, $250,000. Then when it became third stimulus, well, the viewers of this channel just cleaned up. The viewers of this channel just cleaned up because they listened and understood how to get Check C. Let's look at the success story. Do you want $30,000 for rent? Go get Check C. Look at these numbers. Do you want $15,000 for utilities? Go get these numbers. Go get Check C's. Snap, $25,000 a year for 10 years, $250,000. Combo, Nisi, Mark, Lorraine. Let's look at what happened to them when they got combinations. They do exactly what I say. Get money, continue to get money. Nisi went from $22,000 to $50,000. Mark went from $32,000 to $166,000. This is his progression along the way. He just got Check B. And Lorraine, she gets money every few days, just like Nisi. She went from $105,000 to $150,000. How do you get Check C? You go right down into that membership newsletter, and it tells you where to call, what to say, and how to say it. Become a member, join the channel, go down in the newsletter, you find Check C, and get these big sums of money. And there you go. The landscape is very clear, and the importance of getting this money is even more clear than ever because the economy is shrinking very dramatically. Here's what you need to know when we're looking at inflation rates going higher and when we're looking at a concern about where this economy could be in a very short period of time. When you're worried about inflation going higher, the concern is that inflation going higher could send you in a recession. Now, the recession is not in September. That's next year. My concern is that Americans are not going to worry about next year and then be blindsided when a financial cliff hits them this year. Yes, let's make that clear again. The financial cliff is not next year, it's this year. And that financial cliff is caused by a change of the environment of where the economy is very abruptly and leaves people exposed. Exposed because they can't pay the rent, the mortgage, the utility bill. They don't have saved up savings or similar. And that is why in the next 90 days, situation is going to get very bad very quickly. Now, let me go over the importance of understanding the financial cliff in the context of tonight's commentary. Haven't had commentary on this channel in a while, so it's back tonight. Financial cliff, yes. Definitely happening? Absolutely. Definitely in September? No, I mean, it can come later. It could come in October, but it's definitely happening. Here's what I need you to know. Who's going to absolutely fall over the financial cliff? People who continually repeat the same expression day in, day out, and don't listen. And what is that expression? Whatever happened to the Build Back Better Act? Those people. Yeah. Build Back Better Act is not paying you a penny before you get to the edge of the financial cliff. If the financial cliff is September, the Build Back Better Act is not paying you a penny before the edge of the financial cliff comes to you. It will get passed, Build Back Better Act, in my opinion, it will get passed, but it's not going to pay you a penny before that financial cliff. And if you're saying, you know, I'm walking along singing a song and I'm not worried about the rent or the utilities, the mortgage, or any of those items, because they're eventually going to get to the Build Back Better Act. Oh, did I just trip? Yeah, you're over the financial cliff. You're over the financial cliff because you did not prepare for an environment that's happening right in front of you because you're thinking about something else that's not the present. Let's say this another way. Your bank account's not particularly great at the moment, but it's sustainable as long as the economy doesn't get worse. If the economy gets worse really quickly, you're not prepared. Let's say you have a job and you get laid off. You're not prepared. Let's say something changes the economy that makes it hard to pay the rent. You're not prepared. Something changes the economy that makes it hard to get the mortgage paid. You're not prepared. That's a financial cliff, and you fall over it. People say, whatever happened to the Build Back Better Act? There's two ways to make that recording. One, a Build Back Better Act has no update. See you tomorrow. You can do that. Build Back Better Act has no update. See you tomorrow. Or you can do the sort of Disingenuous recording. The disingenuous recording is Build Back Better Act is really good. It's really good. It's eventually going to happen. It's really good. I'm very positive. It's really going to happen. It's eventually going to happen. It's really going to happen. Are you falling off a financial cliff? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Build Back. Just keep on repeating the same thing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Did you fall off a financial cliff? Sorry. Yeah. Who would do that? Who would do that? I'm not going to do that. Maybe someone else is going to do that. I'm not going to talk about relying upon the Build Back Better Act to get you between now and September. I'm not going to do that. Someone else can do that, but I'm not going to be part of that equation. You cannot get between now and September on something that doesn't pay you any money. It ain't paying you any money between now and September. This situation is upon you. Big sums of money across the board. Finally, I want to make very clear, because I've not said this in a while, and every time I hear it, it sort of makes me go, what? Build Back Better Act does not have things that people think it has in there. It does not have a Bentley. It does not have a Rolls Royce. It does not have prime rib. It does not have certain things in there. And people keep on thinking about it as just this wonderful thing. Let's make this very clear. Build Back Better Act in your mindset, if you're in one of those sort of beautiful nirvana settings, maybe has $6,500 for you. I have $100,000 for you folks. Why would you be talking about something that has maybe $6,500, maybe, a couple of weeks from now, maybe a couple of months from now, when I have $100,000 for you right now? Reality check is in front of us across the board. Let's go back to the change in developing details on that great news, that huge great news. I'm very excited for you. It's the SS300. What a transition. This was the storyline a year ago where people said, whatever happened to SS300? Well, whatever happened, it's happening. It's finished. It's done. It is ready to rock and roll. And the great news is that it actually may be even more money. Wow. Checks are going up. If you're on SSI, SSDI, VA, and RD, they're going to be on average about $300 based upon what the Social Security's chief actuary says. He says your benefits are going to go up an average of 8%, about 8%, and that equates to about $300 based upon my calculation. But my calculations also show that maybe they're going to go up even more. What's going on? Your benefits are currently tied to COLA, and COLA is a benchmark that determines how much your benefits go up or stay the same every year. They never go down. COLA is itself a number that's dependent upon another number. And what's that number? The CPI-W. That sounds familiar. We heard about CPI earlier in this video. The inflation number? Yes, it's a component of the CPI, the inflation number. What did the chief actuary at Social Security do when they saw the May CPI number released? We saw that number earlier in this recording. It was a little bit higher than expected. They looked at the May number and they said, well, that May number is really high. So based upon that May number, we're projecting out that you're going to have about an 8% raise in December. Now, theirs is just a projection based upon May economic data from this country. When I look at the same data, do I agree? No. I think based upon the same data, it may be actually higher. Let me explain to you why. The CPI-W for the months of July, August, and September determine your COLA. It's 3 months to determine your COLA. Well, what Goss is basically doing is before we're getting to the 3 months actually happening this year, he's projecting out based upon what happened in May. He's saying based upon what happened in May, I think it's going to be about 8% based upon what I think is going to happen in July, August, September. Do I agree? I think he's undervaluing it. I believe that the CPI-W will go a little bit higher than the month of May because of gasoline. Now, gasoline's been interesting. It has pulled back in the last 7 days, but it started the month higher. So the CPI-W is dependent upon gasoline going higher, is dependent on gasoline prices and price of goods. If they go higher, then the CPI-W goes higher, then your benefits go higher. Pretty simple. If it's not, it's also in the membership newsletter. Takeaway is I believe that Goss is right, that it's going to be about 8% at least, but I think it's going to be closer to 9%. We'll know the data then. Remember, recession is likely if gas stays high. If gasoline stays high, then the CPI stays high. If the CPI stays high, the Federal Reserve raises rates. Tonight, no update on that either. If you have the LALATE worksheets in front of you, pull out your notes. And this is what's important for viewers who are really on top of it. They're asking, why has gasoline gone down? Has there been a deal on gasoline? No. Let me tell you what's going on with gasoline. Gasoline was at $1 a barrel international Brent crude before Putin invaded. Then it shot up to about 114. we said it was not sustainable at 114. It went all the way up to about 121 the week after Memorial Day weekend. The last 7 days has really pulled back a lot. It's gone as low as about 110, I think, for a few hours one day. It's about 113 tonight. Is there a deal? No. What is it pulling back for? Just a lot of volatility. And they're also basically trading the price of oil up and down based upon their projections of whether economies will slow. If economies slow, then you consume less gasoline. The price of gasoline at the pump, according to the AAA national average, has come back down as well. We led on that at the top of the score recording. It was, I believe, 480. And that's what's fascinating is because it was about 511 just a few days ago. It's 487 tonight. Good news for you before the Memorial Day, before the 4th of July weekend, because gasoline will be a little bit cheaper. It's been down about 34 cents in the last few days. But as a result of a deal? No. Do we need a deal? Absolutely, you need a deal. You absolutely do need a deal. You need a gasoline bought. 3.5 million barrels of gasoline are missing for the international partners, the Western allies. Why? Because Putin's oil has been removed and OPEC Plus reduced capacity. To get the gasoline replaced, where do you go? You go to the sources. Venezuela, Brazil, Iran, Iraq, OPEC Plus, and Saudi Arabia. They're the only countries that can produce 3.5 million barrels a day, which are missing. We do not have it in the ground. We cannot produce in the ground. The narratives coming out of the White House are all false narratives. That the oil executives are to blame, they're not to blame. And that removing a gas tax, federal gas tax at the pump, would give the American people a little bit of breathing room, a little American workers some breathing room. I'm not breathing at an extra $1 off. Yeah, it's 18 cents, the federal gas tax. So if the gallons in the car are 10 gallons, 10 times 18 cents is $1.80. I'm not breathing at $1.80. That's not helping me breathe at all. Thank you. Now, has that become law? No, it's not even law, not even a bill. Takeaway tonight is that it's great news. You found the channel, you found the family, and boy, is this family getting bigger, bolder, and more beautiful in the next 90 days. In the next 90 days, you're going to see a new look to LALATE, a new look which is going to surprise you all in a manner in which you're going to see more of what you love on a regular basis and bolder and more beautiful and delivered more comprehensively. It's coming to this channel in just the next 90 days. Also coming in the next 90 days is a big change to the economy. Jay Powell's comments, I'm very excited that I had these comments for you tonight, and that is why you don't miss a recording. You need to promise yourself 3 things. 1, you watch all the shows every day on this channel. Number 2, you spend the rest of your day getting the money from forced stimulus over and over again. Motivation, it's back on this channel. It's really back. It was what made this channel, put this channel on the map. When I told people, pick up that phone and call SBA 5,000 times a day until they get that EIDL loan or grant out of the locked zone of the vortex, 3:30 and 4/8. 3:30 and 4/8, April 4th, April 8th, and March 30th. Viewers said, you're really motivating, aren't you? Yes, I used to be in aerobics instruction. No, I'm just joking. And so tonight I'm trying to bring back that motivation. Come on already. Let's get that pen. Let's get that phone. Start making calls. Start applying for stimulus. What are you doing? Get off of your duff and start being tough and getting, need to put that on a t-shirt as well. Keep on getting this money. Go out and get this money. Stop being complacent about the situation. The financial cliff is in front of you. And it's just, the hair does not hold up when you fall down a hill. So get this big money tonight. Go right in this video and become a member right tonight. You want to become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. You make sure your alerts are set to all on by hitting the bell at the front of this channel. And stay with me throughout the night. The programming continues with Evenings LA every night at 5. Countdown at 7. Street and 6, Street and Stimulus at 7, Extra at 8, 9 o'clock is Sunset, and as always, stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.